Yeah, there are 4 in here. 2 males, 2 females.
Oh my God. So what's the process of this?
So first, what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull one of the birds out, one of the chicks out, and I'm going to put it in, slide it into this can. It's sort of about the right size for the bird. You'll see, and this kind of calms them down. With young ones, it's not quite so important, but it just makes them easier to work with and to do things. So let's do this. They're slightly different ages, only maybe by a day or two, which is very, very common. Sometimes they just develop at different rates. Usually the females are a little bit slower. And this one is a female. You can see all the white down, and you can see all the regular, sort of the you know, official plumage coming in through the down. Keeps them from flapping their wings. Exactly. It's both for me and for the birds. You know, these are the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service bands. Aluminum band. It has a unique number that will be unique to this bird. No other bird before or after will ever have a number that is exactly the same as this. These are the feather sheaths. So these feathers are what they're called in blood, and you can see this dark coloration right there, that dark bluish. That's actually blood, and so the feathers are developing, and then they're kind of growing. They're all kind of growing together at the same time, which is different than how it happens when they're older. They'll actually molt at the same time, maybe no more than 2 feathers at the same time. But yeah, and they kind of don't know their own strength with their talons yet. So there's that. Get the band on. These pliers are sized so I can squeeze down all the way hard to get the band nice and tight, and it won't overlap or squeeze the bird's leg, you know, and
which would
be a disaster. This bird's leg is as big as it's going to be. They usually get the bones develop to their full size probably by about 2 weeks. I'm also putting on what are called VID bands, visual identification bands. They look like this. They're also known as field readable, and this is so you can imagine trying to see this on a perched bird that you can't get close to. Trying to read that number is next to impossible unless you're really close. This number, however, bird watchers and other biologists often are out with binoculars and spotting scopes and things. They're fairly high powered, and you can actually see this from a pretty good distance, and this will identify this bird. And so this will give us an idea, maybe, you know, where it's migrating, how far it's going, you know, where it's spending the wintertime, or if it's hanging around here, which is possible. And, you know, and I'll be out as well on the off season looking for some of these, you know, these bands to get resites, as we call them. Touch of super glue. Take a measurement here. This is their tarsus or foot bone. Like getting a little bit of a measurement on that. Okay. Upside down for a second. 98.1. We're pulling feathers that are being sent off for genetic analysis at a university in Idaho, Boise State. Continent-wide project to look at the genetic, sort of the genetic makeup of kestrel populations across North America. Creating a map, so to speak, a genetic map of the continent, because the different populations across North America, they migrate and winter in different areas, and there's concern for kestrel populations kind of across the continent. And so it's a way to try to look at, see where the different regional populations are spending their time, to address the decline, to see if there are, you know, looking at where different populations spend their time, if there are potentially problems at these different areas, and you can sort of hone in on where the declines are occurring. Come out. So notice I'm not using gloves. It's just a way, you know, and their talons are pretty sharp, even though they can pierce the skin, but it doesn't hurt that bad. But I want to have maximum sensitivity to the bird, because I don't want to, if I had a glove on, I wouldn't know how hard to hold them to keep them from getting away. 21 or 22 days.
based on how
maybe
much
a little
downy?
bit, yeah, maybe a little bit younger, but just kind of looking at different things. Yeah, I mean, right, 20 to 20,
What age did
21
they
days.
fly the coop?
They usually leave at about 30 to 35 days. Now you'll see male. Look how little down is on this guy compared to that female. You see the far fewer downy feathers on the head, also on the back. You remember in that last one, there were just these big patches of white down right here, and you can just see they're just remnants, left over. The wings and the tail are a little bit longer. The feathers have emerged further out of the sheath. As the last one, remember how the last bird, they were only about this long or so. Here it's just males tend to develop a little bit faster than females do in general. They eat quite a variety of things. They eat a lot of insects, like a lot of grasshoppers, a lot of beetles, dragonflies, but also a lot of rodents and small birds as well, like little mice, voles. And then sparrows, finches, and things. They're fairly opportunistic and pretty wide-ranging in their taste. They don't just focus in kind of on one thing. Kind of male on you can see the upper surface of the wing is that dark blue color with yeah, exactly, with the black flecking, and then the female is this brown and black barring. The front is subtly different too. The female just has this brown sort of vertical streaking, and the male it's more black and kind of spotty.